Hi, I'm Greg Watson. Apple has just brought out iOS11, a new operating system for an Apple phone. I've had a look through, there's loads of new features, but here are what I consider the 7 best features, the 7 best new features for landlords to use. So enjoy. It's a little bit heavy watching, but I really hope you get some great tips out of it that will help you with your land. The latest iOS came out just a couple of days ago for Apple phones, and I just wanted to share with you some of the coolest tips for iOS 11 for landlords. So the first thing, just as an aside, is that it's quite big on storing, on allowing for more storage space for you. So I'll talk you through a little bit of that soon. That's something that's quite exciting. Now there's a new icon on the screen just down on the bottom right corner above the music called Files. And what this allows you to do is to put any documents pertaining to anything in particular in folders. It doesn't matter where they're stored or what type of documents. For example, let's say that 142 Terry Street was a rental property. I've put a number of things in here: a photograph off the phone, a page off a website. I've scanned a document, and text files, etc. So it allows you for your rental property to keep everything in one place, which is fantastic. In this case, it's on the cloud. It's actually part of my iCloud drive. And what's neat is you can do things straight from the phone to keep all of your files in one place. But also you can sort them by date, etc., which means if you had any disputes or anything like that, all of those resources can be in one place. So that's just wonderful. It's called Files. It just comes naturally or natively to the iOS update. The next one is actually to do with your control center. The control center is what you get to by swiping up, and it looks different. In fact, one of the things that I wanted to share with you is that you can customize this to have on it just what you want to. And one of the things that you can do is screen record, just like I'm doing now, which is the bottom button on the bottom left corner, and record anything that's on your screen, so that you can then refer to that later, which is also pretty handy for landlords. Another thing that's quite interesting is you can now scan documents, and you might be familiar with the Notes app, which is built in. I've actually included that so it's on that bottom row of the customized controls. So let's just have a quick look at how you do that. You go to Settings, you'd find your way to Control Center, Customize Controls, and you can switch on or off the various things that you have appearing on that screen. So what I've done is I've turned on Notes. The reason for that is if I want to make a quick note, all I have to do is swipe upwards, touch the note icon, and we're into Notes straight away. So remember before I was talking about scanning things and storing things. This is something that's really neat to do. So let's start a new note by starting on the bottom corner. Scanning is by simply pushing the plus button and scan documents. What sort of documents might a landlord scan? Possibly something like a residential tenancy agreement. Let's just get that there. It's deciding to, normally does it automatically, but as technology does when you're trying to demonstrate something, it's not quite doing it. So I'll just take a photo of that. Normally it would actually scan the document and size it up automatically. Like I say, when you actually try and demonstrate it doesn't work. Normally it would come up with these by itself. You wouldn't have to do this part I'm doing now, but click on Keep Scan, and when you're finished, click Save. And the great thing there is the scan's now on the bottom left corner. You can click it to bring it up. You can then use the next to the done up the top, you can now send this if it was a tenancy agreement, for example. Now looking at the bottom, you can send it to Files, which is great. It says where do you want to put it. I'll put it in with my Terry Street rental property and replace it. You can rename it or you can keep both. So now if I go back to the Files app, again everything is all in the same place, and you can do this as well for things like evidential photos. As a landlord, you take a couple of photos during an inspection, and using that same process you can then upload the photo into here as well. So the great thing about this is you can keep everything in one place. I love it. Now there's also something here which might be helpful for landlords who are tempted to use their phone while they're driving. You're now able to have a special feature where you can go into your control center where we were before. So that's here, control center. I believe, do not disturb. There's now the ability to do not disturb while driving. What this means is, incredibly, your phone knows when you're driving, which is somewhat helpful. You can activate it automatically, and it will send a message that you can customize to say whatever you want it to say and send that message. So what would happen is someone would ring you and they would get this do not disturb message. That's something just as an aside from a safety point of view. Another thing, now you can edit and save screenshots. So you can, let's just bring something up here so I can demonstrate. Because there is a change here. As unpalatable as it is, I'll just use this article as an example. Now I've taken a screenshot and see it's appeared down the bottom left corner, which means I can touch it. And I can do some really cool things. Next to the plus is the colour of the pen that you want to write with. Let's go yellow. I'll touch the pen and highlight something. So the word may. I might grab the other pen for a minute and highlight something for the person I'm going to send this to, because I feel that they may be interested. And then using the square down the bottom corner, again you can send that to save to files, if that was something you're saving as a landlord, something that you had put in there that was particularly relevant. Again, it's going into 142 Terry Street. Always put keep both. And that's great. Now there's another feature here for landlords which is well worth switching on, and this is where I'll just save that to photos to move it on. This is where you can actually, if you're getting tight for storage, which some of you might be, there's an offload feature. And what this does is it removes apps that you hardly ever use, but keeps all the documents and data on your device. So it would keep all your stuff that you want to keep, but it will say, hey, we haven't used this app for a while. I'll delete that, but I'll just grey it out on your home screen. Now, to do that is very easy, because you can always reinstall it at any stage. You haven't, just to reiterate, you haven't lost your data. It's just the app itself. So you go to Settings, General, and in the iTunes Store, it's going to make a slight liar of me, I think, because my phone might be finding it in different places. Sorry, it's an iPhone storage by looks of things. There's two new functions. One is to review large attachments, and this will actually look through all of your messages and so forth and suggest ones that you can delete. Down below, I've got the iPhone going slow on me, but down below there is the ability to select to offload the unused apps. Murphy's Law, and being a Friday afternoon means that that's not quite working to show you. So under iPhone storage you'll find that, and that's great. Now another thing you can do, there's been cases where landlords have been to properties and they don't feel safe. So there is already an emergency SOS on your phone, but you can enable an auto call feature. This means you can press the, let me just go back to the main settings screen. Down here you've got emergency SOS. If I press the on-off button 5 times, it will automatically call however many contacts I want it to and send my geographic location. Brilliant for property management, or if a landlord's feeling a little unsafe. So this is notwithstanding the fact that you can use an iPhone to ring an emergency number at any time. This also dials other people. So a great new feature. In my office we've used apps that do that before. what else might be useful? You can now create PDFs in Safari, which is quite good, and it's probably one of the last things that might be of use for landlords. Let's have a look here. So let's say if we needed a document to send. Let's go to tenancy.govt.nz, and I'm just going to create a document out of this. So to create a PDF, it's a fairly straightforward process. Just click on the square again. But what you do here is you want to mark up as a PDF. There it is. Oh no, it's not. And the wording can be different, so it's probably that one there, create PDF. And that has done that, and you can actually use the pen up the top right corner to draw on it. So let's do that. And you can draw on it as a PDF. Again, changing pens if you want to. Just a reminder that you need to comply. From there are a few extra options, but once you're done and you click done, you can then save the file, and you've probably guessed it by now, to once again your property address if that's where you wanted it to go. So those are some of the features I loved for landlords. To recap, keep everything in one place, save some storage, and look after your safety. So thanks very much for watching. I'm Greg Watson. Why not go to our YouTube channel at Watson Property Rentals, or otherwise find us on Facebook at Watson Real Estate Limited. Lots more great information to share. Thanks very much for watching.